You're watching Force 13 Live, a special live coverage for Cyclone Joaninha right now. The current time on Rodrigues is 13 minutes past 5. As you can see, the eye of Cyclone Joaninha is progressing towards the island. The eye wall is just about to arrive. It is Class 4 warnings are in effect for the island. That typically means that gale force winds are already occurring and hurricane force gusts are already occurring on the island. The eye wall will probably move through there a little bit later on this evening. The JTWC have it as a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, but myself and Max here don't think it looks quite as good. Max, welcome.
Oh.
Hi. What's your assessment of the storm's strength right now?
I don't know, based on this imagery I'm looking at, I'd say 105 miles an hour at most.
Which would be mid-range Category 2. That's sort of what we're running with at the minute. We're going with 110 miles an hour, but either way, it could still make a landfall on the island, although it does look to me as though it might just pass just a little bit to the east. And that has been something that's been on the models for quite a while, in how it might pass to the east, and it looks like it will do so only marginally though. We're just getting some imagery up here. We've started a bit impromptu. We didn't start on the hour, for instance, but we're getting things in order. And let's see if we can get some infrared imagery. Now, this will probably show you the last 12 hours or so, once it finishes loading, and you might be able to get a better picture of how the storm has been
Show you the last.
Looking here. Was that me?
Just loaded up.
Yeah.
Screen.
If you've got any comments or questions for us whilst we're on the air this afternoon, this evening, send us a message. Start your message with Force 13 all in text. Someone already sent in a question. I'm currently in Rodrigues. In how many hours will we get heavy rain? Well, we're just showing that rainfall graphic a moment ago, and the rainfall rate will probably increase substantially in about an hour, in an hour's time. But this is how it's been looking in the latest 12-hour period. It's certainly got its act together, but it's still lacking really in that eye wall structure, especially on the northwestern side, Max.
Yeah.
But if you're looking towards, you know, from Rodrigues' perspective there, the southeastern side is looking a bit foreboding right now, isn't it? Rain rates in that region are pretty high. That latest frame there, the purple area, that is 45 millimeters of rain per hour. That's the rain rate inside that small purple area. Of course, it is moving all the time, and it's only been there for one frame so far, but that's quite an intense southeastern side. As you can see over Rodrigues itself, just to the south of that band, rain rates are pretty low, only about 2 or 3 millimeters per hour. That will steeply rise pretty soon. Well, let's see. This is satellite estimates, so it may not be completely accurate, but the green area there, that's 5 millimeters per hour, lies at just about 25 miles offshore. And an hour ago it was a further 30 miles offshore, so it will get there within an hour of that last image, which was as of 15 minutes ago. I know it's a complicated math problem here, but I would say in about 45 minutes or less we'll be seeing some significantly heavier rainfall over the island. And if you've got any ground observations for us as this happens, please let us know if it is safe to do so.
We actually do seem to have a ground observation of 144 kilometers per hour in Port Mathurin.
I assume that's a wind gust,
Me too.
because that would be in the region of 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If that happens to be sustained winds, which I doubt, that would be phenomenal, but I assume that is a gust so far. As we've been doing sort of an obligatory update every so often, we do still carry news on Cyclone Idai. The death toll has risen now to 855. That is the latest number as of today. Up to 1,200 are still missing, either due to lack of communication. Of course, communications will be down in many areas in southeastern Africa, or just reported missing. So that number could rise a lot more yet, and that humanitarian disaster will continue for months to come, I'm sure. A lot of pledges from around the world, Canada, China, the European Union, the UK, amongst other regions. Switzerland as well, I believe, have pledged for the recovery effort.
Isn't it now like second deadliest in Southwest Indian Ocean history?
Yes, after the Mauritius cyclone of 1892. That's how far we're going back since we had a more deadly storm in the region. And if anyone remembers that one, then you must be very old. In the meantime, Cyclone Joaninha is the main topic of discussion today. It's not the only thing going on, though. We've got other activity as well, not least in the South Atlantic.
Yes, first fully tropical storm there in 9 years.
Yeah, let's just go through everything that's going on around the world right now. A little recap here. You just about see the cyclone on the top right-hand panel there, or it was there. This is Trevor. It's still going strong. It's looking pretty good. 35 miles an hour they're giving it, and a pressure of 1,000. And it's moving well inland. There's still warnings out for it in terms of severe weather, not for cyclone. This is Veronica, which arguably looks worse than Trevor, even though it never actually went inland, apparently. We still don't really know whether it made landfall or not.
Well, based on that center of circulation, it looks like it's stalling just offshore.
Stalling it again, yep. And blowing up more rainfall underneath that convection to its east. The Port Hedland region, which we did put down as possibly 500 millimeters of rain, might be coming good with that prediction. I think they're expecting another 80 or something like that from this storm. That's Veronica weakening. Here's Invest 96W, which is still alive. Not too far from Yap and Palau now in Micronesia. Palau, of course, its own nation too, and very little of this system, 96W. Here is a satellite image of Joaninha right now. I'm not sure, this isn't actually up to date, that's from ages ago. Okay, we'll ignore that. This is from the Météo France track forecast there. Expecting more intensification and passing just to the east of Rodrigues. Too close for comfort. Already under tropical storm conditions on the island, we expect, according to the Météo France track. This is the Bureau of Meteorology track forecast for Veronica. It's almost dead. As of 8 PM local time, Category 1 on the Australian scale, just north of Karatha. That is also out of date. We'll scoot past those images. And finally, Cyclone Iba, or Iba, is located on the top right hand side nearly of your picture frame there. And that is still looking like a tropical storm. How strong do you think it could get?
I don't know. According to my latest information, it's officially 50 miles per hour, it seems. Though not entirely sure how accurate that is.
Yeah. as we thought, that 144 kilometer wind in Port Mathurin is a wind gust.
Yes.
And a question as to whether it will further intensify. Well, the authorities think so. Let's get back to the imagery. Here is the latest rain estimate, satellite derived, and the colours. If you're seeing this for the first time, the colour scale corresponds to how many millimeters per hour rain rate you're getting in these regions. So the blues, that's up to 5 millimeters per hour. Green is 5 to 10 millimeters per hour. Yellow is 10 to 15 roughly. And then you sort of have a murky yellow color, and then orange starts at 20. Then it sort of goes to a rose color at 25, 30, 35, deep red at 40, and purple 45 millimeters per hour under the purple zone, which we do have a little bit of now to the southeast of this storm's eye.
Sort of on the topic of the rainfall potential, do we currently have a CDPS potential rating for this storm?
Well, there was a stage 7 yesterday, and I assume it's something pretty similar actually.
Probably.
So that is catastrophic potential if this storm was to make landfall on Rodrigues. But the way it's looking at the moment, it's pretty close to that. Let's get an estimate on how fast it's been moving in the last few minutes and hours. So movement in the last 3 hours has been 14 miles, 13 miles, which means it's still got quite a way to go before it arrives at Rodrigues. It's another 118 miles. So class 4 warnings in effect, but still pretty slow moving, and this could go on for quite a while. So I guess that really is everything for the time being. We came on the air briefly because we wanted to do an update on the storm because of how it's looking. But Max, any other thoughts before we cut away from this short update?
Just with
Sorry?
how Joaninha seems to be approaching to Rodrigues. Anyone on that island, just don't go outside for the time being. Listen to your local authorities and weather services. And make sure your preparations, if any, are coming to an end at this time.
Definitely. This is going to be going on for a while. The main rainfall is going to arrive pretty soon. I did feel it was necessary to broadcast a live event, even though it's pretty short, just to talk about what the current situation is. We'll have another update to supplement this at 7 PM local time. That's when there's going to be another video update on the Force 13 YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page as well. It could be a Category 3 by then, we'll see, and we'll keep monitoring this closely, and we'll probably have more updates throughout the night tonight and tomorrow. Thank you, Max, for joining me. Thanks for joining us today as well, and hopefully you found this useful. This was the latest on Joaninha. More to come on the Force 13 channel later today.